Moving on. Mitch McConnell said there is no evidence whatsoever that the Bush tax cuts actually diminished the revenue. They increased revenue. They increased revenue. And we keep giving these people a job? They argue for tax cuts, which aren't paid for, and goes into deficit. Goes towards the debt, and they argue against the deficit. So your tax cuts, which take away money, take away revenue for the country, and puts us in a deficit, but then you argue against the deficit. How does that make sense? Cutting revenue increases revenue. This is what Mitch McConnell said. Bitch McConnell. That's what I got to call him. Bitch McConnell said, cutting revenue increases revenue. Just write that down and think about it for a fucking minute. Cutting revenue increases revenue. Alright, so you're saying, alright, let's take a percentage out of my check. We'll cut it. That'll increase my revenue. These people, you gotta listen, think for yourselves, guys. Think for yourselves. Now listen to this here. The national deficit is $1 trillion this year. Oh my God, it's $1 trillion? Well, listen to this. If the pubs take over this fall, which we must stop, if the pubs take over this fall, they will extend the 2001 and 2003 tax cuts. Of course, Obama will veto that shit. Go Obama. They want to extend the 2001 and the 2003 tax cuts. Whew! $2.3 trillion. Add that onto the fucking deficit. The one deficit that you cry about, that you rail about, that you go off about, that you scream and cry about how you want your country back, and how much money we're spending, and the teabaggers form a teabagging union over tax cuts and spending, and deficits and the debts on your grandchildren. The $1 trillion deficit will immediately, you add 2.3 on the fucking deficit. 2.3 trillion. So we're at 3.3 now. Your tax cut extension will add 2.3 trillion to the deficit. They're gonna, and not only that, when you listen to these people, man, not only do they want to add 2.3 trillion with the tax cut extensions, they want to end alternative minimum tax, the AMT, the estate tax, which is the death tax we talked about earlier, and the gift tax. Whoom! Another $1.1 trillion you add to the deficit. So, ever since they took over in office in the fall this year, we have just added $3.3 trillion to this year's fucking deficit. And they hate deficits. They're against the deficit. They're against spending. They're against all of this piling on to my grandchildren. They're against it. But immediately, as soon as they come in office, instantaneously, $3.3 trillion they will be putting on the table, adding to the deficit. Don't let them do it, people. Don't let them do it. And that's not all. They want to repeal Obamacare, add another $138 billion to the deficit. They want to prevent cap and trade. When that goes down, that's another $19 billion. The GOP will add $3.5 trillion to the deficit immediately. So what will we at? It's at $1 trillion as it is. $4.5 trillion when they take back in control. Is that what you want, America? Is that what you want? You formed the goddamn Tea Party immediately when he took office. He didn't even spend a fucking red penny. He didn't spend a nickel, a dime, a quarter. He spent not a dollar. And you motherfuckers jumped on him for spending money. After your boy Bush and the GOP was in power, they spent money like motherfucker. You go through money like a whore, like Mel Gibson would say, and that's what the GOP is, the party of whores. Now let's compare eras. 8 years of Bush netted 3 million jobs, which doesn't keep up with the population growth. 8 years of Clinton netted 22 million jobs. You gotta ask the Republicans, ask the pubs, ask the goddamn motherfuckers. If your policies are so fucking right and so fucking true, how come you only netted 3 million jobs? We're not talking about a liberal stat here. This is Congressional Budget Office. 3 million jobs we grew. That's it. That's it. So what you're saying is the 22 million jobs that were gained under Clinton, you lost 19 million jobs. That's what it's saying. Clinton gained 22 million jobs over his time. Bush gained 3 million jobs. So, in essence, you lost jobs and the population is in a boom. Under Democrats and under Clinton, people have a chance to join the middle class. Democrats are responsible about cutting and increasing programs. They know what programs to form and what programs to dismantle. Incomes went up under Clinton. They usually do under Democrats. Incomes go up. Incomes went flat or went down under Bush. They couldn't keep up with the population growth. The GOP wants to cut spending on the poor. That's the only place where they do cut spending. Poor. 15% of the total budget is to entitlements, unemployment, all this, Medicare, all this is only 15% of the budget. Don't let them fool you. Go look it up. We're talking about facts. I'm talking about motherfucking facts. Because this shit is all fucking true. It's based off the Congressional Budget Office. And you ask a Republican, they'll tell you, oh, if the Congressional Budget Office, if they back up a statement, they say, oh my God, see, that goes right next to Genesis. That goes next to there shall be light. That goes right next to God. But if the Congressional Budget Office gives you a report that goes against it, oh my God, it's the fucking Antichrist. They're Obama. They're under Obama's thumb, the Congressional Budget Office. We should get rid of it. Stop funding it. But if they agree with them, all right, back on track. We got off track. Where was I? All right. Incomes go up under Clinton. Incomes went flat or down under Bush and didn't keep up with the population growth. They want to cut spending on the poor only. You ask a Republican. I just got done talking to one of my friends who's a good friend, and he goes, what do you think Americans that don't do anything, why they just get everything for free? Why don't they have to do? Yeah, I agree with you, but it's 15% of fucking, the people, your puppet masters, the 2% that own all the wealth in this country, they get all the money and you're not getting none of it. You're just doing their bidding. You don't even know that they are against you. Well, just ask them that. When they start talking stupid, ask facts. Say, give me facts. That's all I want to know. And the GOP, the Grand Obstructionist Party, and Bush, this is what they done over their 8 years. They deregulated Wall Street. I know you hate to hear that, but they did. It's like having a basketball game and you got $1 million athletes, you got millions of dollars, all this money in the game, and guess what? Guess what, basketball? Referees, just go home. That's what deregulating means. There's no referees. There's nobody in there to say, wait a minute, let's check this, let's check that, let's make sure we stop this and stop that. And then they want to use the big government argument. It's a big bloated government, big bloated government. No, it's not big bloated government. It's efficient government. You have to have some government. It's just not no referees at all. You ever played in a pickup game? Motherfuckers lie, foul, foul, oh, foul, foul. They're lying. There's no referees. No, are referees perfect? No, referees are not fucking perfect. By no means are they perfect. But you have to have a referee in there to fucking keep law and order in the sport. They deregulated Wall Street. So there's no referees in Wall Street. None. There's nobody there to say, wait a minute, let's not pile on and make these banks too big to fail. Regulation was put in there after the last huge crash. Regulation was put in there for that reason. That's why it was there. Reagan started deregulating. Clinton even did. He's a Democrat. Bush, both Bushes, they started deregulating like a motherfucker. And Bush W just deregulated the fuck out of the whole joint. It's not big government. It's good government. Efficient government. Stop saying, oh my God, it's a bloated government. By the way, the Republicans are the ones that made it a bloated government.
Yeah. It's live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Horse Hooray!
What's lacking? You lacking? I'm packing. Money stacking. What's lacking? You lacking? I'm packing. Money stacking. What's lacking? You lacking? I'm packing. Money stacking. What's lacking? You lacking? I'm packing, money stacking.